Assalamualaikum. My name is SHARIFAH binti Ahmad. Our group title presentation is Landfill, Hazardous Waste Treatment and Disposal Method. I will start with the introduction. With urbanization and population growth, the transition in economic globalization and rising technology has resulted in an increase in the volume of waste. The statistics that demonstrate the gravity of the waste-related challenge should not be neglected. Every year, almost 1.2 billion tons of waste are collected around the world. Year after year, the amount of waste produced was predicted to surpass 2.2 billion tons, with nearly all of it coming from developing countries. Most of the waste is a solid waste that cannot easily be destroyed. Hazardous waste treatment and disposal can be done in a variety of ways. Landfill is one of them. It is the most widely utilized approach in many countries. What is landfill? A trash and rubbish disposal technology in which waste is buried between layers of earth in order to create low-lying trash. Due to the ease of disposal, cheap cost, and landscape restorative effect, landfill are the most prevalent solid waste disposal techniques. Landfill are built to concentrate the waste in compacted layers, to reduce the volume, and monitored for the control of liquids and gases effluent in order to protect the environment and human health. The major goal of landfill site design is to offer effective control mechanisms to avoid adverse effects on surface water, groundwater, soil and air. The landfill is the most efficient means to settle the collected waste. From the most sustainable method, the first one is the source reduction, reuse, recycling, recovery, and disposal. The disposal example is landfill. Landfill is the least preferred method in the hierarchy of integrated solid waste management.
I'm SYA'ARANI. I will continue with classification of landfill site. Level 1, control dumping, available facility, minimum infrastructure, fencing and perimeter drain. Level 2, sanitary landfill with daily cover, available facility, class 1 facility with gas removal system, separate unloading and working area, daily cover and enclosing barn, divider construct as the embedment of different waste cells. Level 3, sanitary landfill with leachate circulation, available facility, class 2 facilities with leachate recirculation system allowing the collection, recirculation and monitoring of landfill leakage. Level 4, sanitary landfill with leachate treatment, available facility, class 3 facilities with leachate treatment system. Next is type of hazard waste in landfill. Municipal solid waste, item from home and business that people no longer have any use for. These wastes are commonly called trash or garbage that we use every day, such as food, paper, plastic, textile, leather, wood, glass, metal, sanitary waste in septic tank, and other waste. It is usually left on the curbside weekly and picked up by a dump truck and taken to be buried. Industrial waste, industrial process waste and pollution control, waste generated by manufacturing or industrial process that are not hazardous waste, such as concrete, lumber, asphalt, gypsum, metal, brick, and foundry waste. That's hazardous waste. Hazardous wastes are classified on the basis of their biological, chemical, and physical properties. These properties generate material that are either toxic, reactive, inedible, corrosive, infectious, or radioactive. Toxic wastes are poison, even in very small or trace amount. They must be deposited in secure landfills. Basic part of landfill: bottom liner system, separate waste and subsequent leakage from groundwater. The bottom liner keeps waste from getting into contact with the outside earth, especially groundwater. Typically, the liner is made of tough, puncture-resistant synthetic plastic, polyethylene, high-density polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, vinyl chloride. Cells place that the trash is stored within the landfill. The cell is then coated in 6 inches of earth and compressed even further. Row and layer of adjacent cells are used to organize the cells. Stormwater drainage system, plastic drainage pipe and storm liner collect water from area of the landfill and channel in it to drainage ditches surrounding the landfill beds. Leakage collection system, leakage is water that get badly contaminated by contacting waste. The leakage was directed to collection sumps by the system, which allow it to be appropriately removed from the landfill. Methane collection system: it will gather methane gas produced by the decomposition of waste. Landfill gas represent a usable energy source. The methane can be extracted from the gas and used as fuel. Covering of cap, seal of the top of the landfill. The soil is then planted with vegetation to prevent erosion of the soil by rainfall and wind. From this table, we can see the survey of solid waste landfill in Malaysia. There are sanitary site landfill, TPS Silong Johor, TPS Tanjung Lamsat Johor, TPS Kuching Utara Sarawak, TPS Sibuti Sarawak, TPS Kemunyang Sarawak, TPS Tanjung 12 Selangor, TPS Bukit Taga Selangor, TPS Jaram Selangor. And unit sanitary landfill, TP Jeti Jelutong Pulau Pinang, TP Kuang Selangor, TP Dengkil Selangor.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Nizam bin Abdul Aziz. So today I will talk about the advantage of a landfill. Advantage of landfill. The number one is using overgrave as a landfill site is cheap waste disposal option for local council. Since that the technology that is used in landfill is rather mature and quite efficient, landfill are rather cheap way to get rid of our waste. Thus, also from economical perspective, disposing of waste into landfill can make more sense compared to other waste management method. Number two is lot of different type of waste can be disposed by a landfill in comparison to other waste disposal method. Landfill are especially suitable for waste items that cannot be recycled. Sure, we should try to recycle as much as waste as possible to use our natural resource in the most efficient manner. Yet there is a fraction of waste that is non-recyclable, and it's to get rid of this sort of waste, landfill are the great way to do so. Point number three is waste transport costs will be reduced as our waste will also have to travel a short distance to landfill. This will also reduce the amount of pollution caused by transporting the rubbish. Since landfill can be constructed for a very big city, the waste also does not have to transport over long distance. Instead, is very big city has a landfill, the waste can just be collected and can be dumped into the closed landfill. In turn, waste management become much more efficient, and we can further reduce greenhouse gases emission, since the transportation distance of waste can be lowered and garbage trucks don't have to drive too far to find the closest landfill. Point number 4 is local rubbish will be dealt with locally instead of shifting the problem to another area of country, example China. Over the year, the parties of the Basel Convention have adopted decisions with respect to the Basel Convention provision aims at controlling transboundary movement of the hazardous and other waste, development guidance on the control system, and technically guidance on transboundary movement of e-waste and use electrical and electronic equipment, in particular regarding the distance between waste and non-waste under the Basel Convention, and adopt notification and movement document and instruction for the completing this. Point number 5 is the gas given out by the landfill site could be collected and used for heating. With modern landfill, it is very possible to produce significant amount of energy from the gases that are produced in the decomposition process of waste. Over time, significant amount of methane and other gas will be emitted from landfill, and those gases can be used to produce large amount of energy over time. In turn, we must use fewer amount of fossil fuel for energy production, which can also help to slow down global warming to a certain extent. Point number 6 is this site could be re-landscaped and built on once it has been filled. This happened in Taman Rekreasi Air Hitam Puchong. While landfill can be a great way to get rid out of waste problem, this space where landfill are located can also be used for several different purposes in case those landfill will be no longer to be needed in future for various reasons. Quite often, those areas of land will be used to create nature reserve or for the other sensible purpose that natural ecosystem can be restored. And lastly, job will be created for local people. There is also plenty of manual work that must be done in landfill. This can include the separation of waste, but also managing the overall logistics. Hence, many workers can be employed in a landfill, which also implies numerous job opportunities for the local population. Those job opportunities can be quite important, especially in poor part of our planet where many people rely on their job and in landfill to survive. This is one of the example of the landfill that has been re-landscaped. This project is a good effort to the communities because it is not only a form landfill but also give a good return to the community, such as garbage gas that is sucked and pumped to generate electricity to the resident, as well as wastewater treated and channeled into the river.
Disadvantages of landfills. First, landfills can lead to soil pollution, air pollution, and groundwater pollution. Although the use of landfills implies many advantages, there are still some problems related to this concept. For instance, one disadvantage of landfills is that they can lead to serious soil pollution. If waste is disposed into those landfills, the soil will decompose over time. In the long run, harmful chemicals will be released into the soil. Those chemicals can not only greatly alter the structure of the soil, they can also be quite harmful to numerous bugs and other small animals who currently live in the soil. Another downside of landfills is that they will also contribute to some level of air pollution. Over time, the trash will be decomposed, and in these decomposition processes, the wind will carry gases and other light components and spread them over quite long distance. Soil pollution related to the use of landfills often also implies serious groundwater pollution. If harmful components end up in the soil, chances are that those elements will be washed through the soil into the groundwater sooner or later. In turn, our groundwater may become polluted to a serious level. Many people may not know, but water is crucial for all life on Earth, and we should feel an inner obligation to protect this precious resource as best as possible. Moreover, in the near future, water will become a quite scarce resource due to global warming, and many regions all over the world, especially in the southern hemisphere of our planet, will run out of water. Hence, especially in those regions, it is crucial to protect the groundwater, and in case landfills are a big cause of groundwater pollution in those regions, government should close those landfills since groundwater protection should have priority in those cases to save the life of millions of people. Through the decomposition of certain types of waste in landfills, gases are produced that can also contribute to the formation of acid rain. Even though acid rain is often belittled by the general public, it is a serious problem and can have various negative effects on our environment. The second disadvantages of landfills is destruction of natural habitats. For the construction of landfills, large areas of land have to be used. Hence, if government decide to build a new landfills, large areas of land that were previously rather untouched by human will now be used in an intensive manner. In turn, the natural habitats of many animals and plants may get destroyed due to the construction of those landfills. The third disadvantages of landfills is deforestation. Quite often, the construction of landfills also implies serious level of deforestation. Landfills are often constructed outside of big cities, which often implies cutting down a high number of trees in order to get sufficient space for landfills. However, deforestation can have numerous adverse effects on our environment. For instance, trees are natural storage spaces for carbon dioxide, and if those trees are cut down, large amount of greenhouse gases will be emitted into our atmosphere in the long run. Therefore, in order to slow down climate change as best as possible, we should protect our forests and we should not sacrifice them for the construction of landfills. Fourth, endangerment of species. Deforestation of the destruction of natural habitats that is related to the construction of landfills will also contribute to the endangered species problem. Many of our animals and plants have become endangered or even extinct over the past year, and if we continue like that, chances are that a vast amount of species will become extinct in the near future. Hence, in order to protect our species from extinction, we should also avoid the excessive use of landfills. Fifth, landfills may produce serious smell. The use of landfills also implies significant levels of smell. Especially if these landfills are located quite close to big cities, this can be quite annoying since people who live close to those landfills may suffer from this smell quite a lot, which can greatly decrease the quality of life of those people. Hence, in order to mitigate the smell problem, politicians should make sure that landfills are implemented at a place where not too many people are bothered by unpleasant smell. 6. Visual pollution related to landfills. The presence of landfills is often also not a pretty picture. In fact, I don't know a single person who would like to live close to a landfill. Hence, it can be quite annoying if a landfill is constructed in your neighborhood and if you can see this landfill from your balcony. Thus, landfills can also be a problem from a visual pollution standpoint. 7. Landfills may hurt the tourism industry. Landfills can not only be quite annoying for the local population, they can also display a significant problem for tourism in a region. People usually want to spend their vacation in nice, clean places instead of being surrounded by garbage. Therefore, if too many landfills are constructed in a specific region, chances are that tourists may no longer want to spend their vacation in those regions. In turn, the local population may greatly suffer since many people rely on tourism as their single source of income. Thus, landfills can also adversely impact the tourism industry if they are used in an excessive manner and in inappropriate location. 8. Hazardous waste may end up in landfills. Landfills are usually not meant to deal with hazardous waste. In fact, these waste often has to be treated in a certain manner instead of just disposing of it in landfills in order to avoid any environmental issues. However, if the monitoring processes are inefficient in landfills, it is still possible that this kind of waste will end up in landfills. This can be especially harmful in case of radioactive waste, since it may pollute whole regions, which in turn may lead to serious health issues for the local population. 9. It may lead to ecological imbalance. Another problem of landfill is that since for the construction of landfills, large areas of land have to be used and trees have to cut down, also the local ecosystem may suffer quite a lot. If the natural habitats of animals and plants are destroyed, some predator species may drop in numbers, while other prey species may increase in numbers. In turn, the whole ecosystem may get out of balance with unclear long-term effects for the region as a whole. 10. Poor working conditions in landfills. Although many people are thankful to get the opportunity to work in those landfills since they need their jobs to make enough money to survive, the working conditions are often quite poor and workers may often not even wear proper protection. In turn, this can also lead to serious health issues for those workers in the long run. 11. Landfills also potential for accidents. Since methane and other gases form in landfills over time, there is also a certain risk for explosions if those landfills are not set up properly. Therefore, working in those landfills can also be quite dangerous in this regard. 12. Lax regulation regarding landfills. Another issue of landfills is that they are often also only quite lax regulation in place. In fact, in some countries, the setup of landfills is not subject to strict controls at all, and therefore, the operators of landfills will have significant room of discretion regarding how eco-friendly they want to set up their landfills. In turn, this can lead to serious pollution if profit maximizing goals are more important for landfill owners than protecting our ecosystem. Lastly, landfills give people a flawed incentive. Many people may also think that since we have many landfills in place, they do no longer have to care about avoiding waste at all since the waste can be processed in a proper manner. However, this is flawed thinking since our waste production always has negative effects on our environment, even if the best landfills are used. Hence, make sure that you continue to reduce your waste production and to recycle your waste as best as possible.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Nabil bin Idris. I will present case study in Malaysia. In Malaysia, the population is increasing at a rapid rate, reaching 32.6 million in 2019. This has resulted in a tremendous amount of solid waste being generated, which was estimated as about 38,200 tons per day, 1.12 kg kept per day. In 2018, enough to fill the Twin Towers every 7 days. 82.5% of which is disposed of in landfills. If not managed properly, landfills can cause detrimental effects to environment, humans, and aquatic world. Most of the landfills in Malaysia are lagging with adequate facility. The first case is landfill pollutants leaching into the sea. By the Star Online, 16 September 2019. Fish farmers in the Penang's Pulau Burung sanitary landfills are blaming the facility for emitting pollutants that harm their cage-bred fish. There are about 150 fish farms, forming one of the largest clusters of floating fish farms in Malaysia, and they are located 2 kilometers from Penang's only sanitary landfill. Fishermen are blaming the landfill for recent fish deaths in their nets and cages and are accusing the landfill, which is managed by the Seberang Prime Municipal Council, of illegally discharging leachate into the sea. Brackish water was found flowing into the sea, believed to be leached from the landfill. Shortly after that, tons of fish floated belly up. The fault likely lies on the material used in the perimeter's drain or bunds, which he claimed were constructed using primitive materials like red earth. This had led to breeders with fish farm off the waters of Nibon Tebal discovering tons of dead fish since July. It was reported at least 1,700 to 1,800 tons of rubbish is dumped at the landfill on a daily basis, and the time of rainfall, the drains are not able to contain the leachate, and it leaks out of to the sea.